Number 1. The plague. Uh-oh, you are feeling a bit under the weather. In 2025, you might call out sick, take some medicine, and binge watch Netflix. In 1348, you would notice swollen black lymph nodes in your groin or armpits, start vomiting blood, develop a high fever, and be dead within the next 72 hours. Surprise, you've got the Black Death. The bubonic plague wiped out an estimated 30 to 60% of Europe's population. That's roughly 25 million people. The disease was caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, typically transmitted through flea bites from infected rats. Medieval doctors, having no concept of germ theory, were utterly baffled. Their cutting-edge medical solutions included sitting in sewers, because the bad smell might drive away the bad air, bloodletting, drinking molten gold and crushed emeralds, applying a paste of ground herbs, tree resins, rose petals, and, wait for it, human feces. Your modern immune system, which has never encountered this disease, would have zero natural resistance. Your insistence that it's spread by fleas, not bad air, would likely get you branded as a heretic. While you're dying, your physician might show up wearing a terrifying bird-like mask filled with herbs, looking like your nightmare came to life. And if you manage to avoid the first wave, the plague returns regularly throughout the medieval period, just in case anyone was getting too comfortable with their continued existence. Number 2, travel. Okay, so you survived the plague and now you need to travel to the closest city to acquire work. Think your delayed flight or traffic jam was bad? Medieval travel was a special kind of hell that would make modern commuters weep with gratitude. First, there were the roads, little more than muddy tracks that became impassable swamps in the rain. You would travel at a blistering pace of 2 to 3 miles per hour on foot. Horseback could get you to a whopping 20 miles per day if conditions were perfect, which they never were. When you finally find accommodation, inns are often filthy, overcrowded, and dangerous. You'd likely share a bed with multiple strangers, and their fleas and lice. Food would be whatever the innkeeper had available, which might be barely cooked mystery meat. But the real fun is the constant threat of being robbed, attacked, or both. Highwaymen and bandits view you as a walking treasure chest. Carrying weapons for protection? Hope you know how to use them, because your attackers certainly did. Your smartphone GPS would be useless, and your stranger danger instincts inadequate. Oh, and don't forget that traveling between certain areas required paying tolls at almost every bridge, town entrance, and river crossing. No credit cards accepted, only coins that you had to carry with you, making you an even more attractive target for thieves. Let's face it, you'd get lost, robbed, contract a disease, or die before you made it 50 miles. Number 3, famine. But let's assume you got lucky and made it to a city. You're starving. You need to eat. Well, that's unfortunate. There's no food. The medieval period experienced regular, devastating food shortages. Between 1315 and 1322, the Great Famine hit Europe with catastrophic force. Unusually heavy rainfall destroyed crops for multiple consecutive years. Food prices increased up to 10 times. People ate cats, dogs, and rats. Approximately 10 to 25% of city dwellers died during severe famines. In rural areas, entire villages simply ceased to exist. Your knowledge of agriculture would be worthless against waterlogged fields, and your expectations of government assistance would be met with blank stares. Even in good years, the medieval diet was nutritionally deficient by modern standards. The average peasant subsisted primarily on a monotonous diet of bread, pottage, a thin vegetable soup, ale, and occasional scraps of meat. Fresh fruits and vegetables were seasonal and limited. Vitamin deficiencies were rampant, leading to problems like scurvy, rickets, and night blindness. Your modern body, accustomed to year-round produce and complete meals, would struggle to adapt. Once winter comes around, whatever meager food supply you've managed to gather would dwindle to nothing, and you'd eventually starve and die. Number 4, violence and war. So, you've settled in, found a job, maybe made a few friends. They invite you out to a tavern for an ale. You're minding your own business, and bam! Tavern brawl. The Middle Ages were extraordinarily violent by modern standards. Homicide rates in medieval England were estimated to be 10 to 20 times higher than in modern Western societies. Disputes that might now be resolved through legal channels were often settled with a duel to the death. The concept of calling the police didn't exist. Law enforcement was spotty at best, and justice systems favored the wealthy and connected. Then there were the wars. The 100 Years' War alone devastated large parts of France. When armies came through an area, they typically lived off the land, a euphemism for they stole everything edible and burned what they couldn't carry. Even if you weren't directly involved in combat, war could mean starvation, displacement, or being collateral damage. And combat itself? Medieval battles were chaotic, bloody affairs. If you were injured in a conflict, a minor wound could lead to gangrene and a slow, painful death. Medieval surgery for you would involve cauterization with red-hot irons and amputations without anesthesia. Number 5, heresy. In medieval Europe, expressing the wrong religious views could get you integrated and burned alive. The medieval Catholic Church wielded enormous power, and it didn't take accusations of heresy lightly. The Inquisition, established in the 12th century, sought out and punished those whose beliefs deviated from official doctrine. Your modern secular viewpoints, casual religious attitudes, or even innocent questions about church doctrine could land you in serious trouble with the Inquisition. Methods of investigation included the rack, which dislocated joints, or the strappato, which involved suspending you by your arms tied behind your back. Even seemingly innocent activities could be dangerous. Reading the Bible in your native language rather than Latin was prohibited in many places. And your expectation of religious freedom or separation of church and state would be completely incomprehensible to medieval authorities. Number 6, childbirth. So you've been stuck here for a while, and you decide to get married and start a family. Well, if you're a woman, don't get attached to your life. And if you're a man, don't get attached to your wife. For women in the Middle Ages, giving birth was potentially fatal. Maternal mortality rates ranged from 1 to 2% per birth, a risk that compounds with multiple pregnancies. Medieval births took place at home, assisted by midwives whose knowledge, while often substantial, was mixed with superstition and limited by the medical understanding of the time. Complications that would warrant emergency C-sections today were often death sentences. The most dangerous killer was childbed fever, an infection caused by bacteria entering the mother's reproductive tract during childbirth. Without antibiotics, these infections were frequently fatal. Medical practitioners wouldn't understand the importance of hand washing until the 19th century. So your midwife might go straight from treating someone with an infectious disease to delivering your baby. And pain management? Hope you like chewing on a leather strap or drinking alcohol. Epidurals were about 600 years in the future you've left behind. Number 7, infancy and childhood. So you or your wife survived. As for your child, well, the odds were not in their favor. In the Middle Ages, reaching adulthood was an achievement. Approximately 30% of your children would die before their first birthday, and nearly 50% wouldn't live to see age 10. Childhood diseases like smallpox, measles, and whooping cough were regular killers. What would be a routine doctor's visit now could be a death sentence then. Even everyday life was hazardous. Supervision was minimal as parents worked, leading to drownings, falls, burns, and animal attacks. Child labor was the norm, with children as young as 7 working in fields or as apprentices in dangerous trades. You had better odds of rolling a 1 or a 2 on a 10-sided die than your kid making it to their 8th birthday. Number 8, overall life expectancy. Perhaps the most sobering reality of medieval life was its brevity. Average life expectancy in the Middle Ages was about 30 to 35 years. If you made it past childhood, you might live to your 50s or 60s, but you'd be considered elderly. By 40, you would likely suffer from multiple chronic health issues: arthritis, poor vision, missing teeth, and various untreatable conditions. Without modern medications, something as simple as an infected tooth could kill you. The cumulative toll of poor nutrition, hard physical labor, injuries, and disease meant that even those who avoided major catastrophes aged rapidly by modern standards. A 50-year-old medieval peasant would likely look and feel like someone decades older today. So, there you have it. The Middle Ages. A period where everything from a rat to a stag to a drizzle of rain was actively trying to kill you. So the next time you're annoyed about the slow internet, take a moment to appreciate that you're not dodging the plague or being charged with heresy.